Hey guys, Rex here. The question comes up sometimes, if you could only have one rifle, Rex, what would it be? And for years, the answer was simple. My M4 that I got a million miles on, my little Colt M4. It's just a Magpul M4 lightweight handguards. I had a Surefire light on there and the little primary arms micro prism 3 power. What a tough little robust little optic that thing is. And VTAC sling, and that's about it. So that's been my go-to for a long time, my one rifle to rule them all, so to speak. However, there's certain stuff that's, man, if I want to utilize my full skill sets as a long-range guy, but also still retain all the flexibility and modularity of a system like the AR, America's Rifle, right? I could use a little more oomph. So I powered up one level, and this is my intent to try to see if this thing will work. And if it works as advertised, this will then kind of take the place of my primary, and this will be my go-to. So this is the one rifle that I would pick if I could only pick one, okay? This is a Daniel Defense DD5 V4, okay, in 6.5 Creedmoor. I don't know if you see that there, okay? 6.5 Creedmoor. Hey, why that cartridge? I got a lot of 7.62 stuff. I know 7.62 very well. I've used it for years. 6.5 gets a lot more max effective range for me. Plus, it's a lot better statistics in terms of actually hitting the target on the first shot. There's way less windage. You have to, like it's like 30% less windage, typically with most loads. And, I can shoot 1,400 with the 6.5 in the right bullets. It's got a really good ballistic coefficient for cutting through the wind. It also has good sectional density on the projectiles, so it's very good at penetrating with the right bullet selection, anything up to and including elk. So a 6.5 Creedmoor will get the job done. This is a AR-10 style platform, of course, and just right now I have their muzzle brake device on there. We'll see how that works. I am using the Surefire dual fuel 600. Okay, this is kind of what I've been using all the time now for all my stuff. Like it's the same exact flashlight. I'm really boring with that. I don't have like huge diversity, but I like duplicates of systems too, so that I can swap parts, swap batteries, and so that I know I'm inside and out. I can have a bunch of extra bulbs or tail caps or whatever, right? But this is the dual fuel. I do have the Mini Scout on my M4, but this is a little bit bigger. It's worth it. It is worth the extra money. I'll share the link below for this and all the other peripheral equipment you see on this system. I don't have a link for the outfit, but they don't need my help. Daniel Defense, right? They've got a very good reputation. But the dual fuel Surefire, man, that's a good light. Standard tail cap, simple and robust is my favorite. We are using, these are, I believe they call them the Troy, 45-degree sights, so that with this slick run optic here, as good and as rugged as this thing is, this is the LH4 Arken. This is their economy line, believe it or not. Is the pedigree wrong for me to put that on there? I don't think so, not in terms of performance. Plus, I can duplicate the system on all my other stuff because I can afford it. It's like $200 or $300 after the discount. Like, it is really affordable. I'll leave all that stuff below again. But the LH4 4-16 will work good for close. It'll work good for far. It's got a mill scale reticle that's very effective. The VPR, it's got illumination. It's got parallax. I have covered capped turrets, which anyone in the field can really appreciate that. Capped turrets, but when I take them off, I got MILRADs. It's first focal plane MILRAD turrets, MILRAD reticle. I don't have to worry about mathematics. But when I click this, tactile audible clicks. It's not as robust as the S8 series, but it is much more lightweight and in a 30mm tube configuration. So I can angle, this is actually very handy. I think the scope's only like 22.5 ounces. For a tactical style variable power optic in this range, that's not too bad. 22.5 ounces. relatively streamlined and lightweight, but extremely rugged, especially with the turret cap. This is always the part that breaks. You set something on it, you step on it, you throw it into the car, stuff gets piled on it. The turret inner post gets bent. Even on, I've broken night forces and all sorts of stuff. For a field rifle like this, man, having a turret cover is great. Also in the winters, also dig this too, I forgot to show you. No tools required to do all my scope stuff. See this right here? This is what they call the coin cap. So you can put a coin in there, but I can just use a finger. Watch carefully. I take that deal off. And let's reset my scales here. Let's say that I zero the rifle. Right here, I didn't zero it yet, so it doesn't matter. And I got the rifle zeroed, but now I want to slip it so this number says 0 when it's zeroed now. Pick it up. I don't know if you can see the inner post there. See if I can get it to focus on that. There's little teeth on there. So I just grab this deal and I find 0. And I just put it on there. And I put my cap back on like so. No tools, no little tiny Allen screws to lose, no little Allen wrenches to lose. Very, very simple. And then once she's set, I can use my reticle as my primary. If I need to do a custom firing solution with my super scientific knowledge that Rex has, right? I acquired all those years. I can dial in a custom firing solution. And the thing I like about the LH, I've never seen an affordable scope configured like this where the tracking was perfect. And you can watch my review. I'll post that below. I was surprised. I thought they were hiding this model for me because I never seen one until I asked for one. I'm like, hey, I want that exact model right there. I want to see it. Are you sure you want to review something like that? Yeah. It's the cheap model. Said, send it to me. And the tracking's perfect. I put it on the board. It did better than the expensive stuff. Because it was exactly perfect. It wasn't like 0.25% off or 0.5% off, which is practically perfect. It was exactly right on. I was like, what? So I don't know. Yeah, and they have the 6 to 24 available too. That's a little much for this model, but for bolt action it'd be great. But I don't think they're making that one anymore. So if you want one of those are only like $189 after discounts or something crazy. It's like really, really cheap. But that's the one I'm running on here. This is the Aero Precision Ultra. This is, I don't know exactly what it's called. I'll share the link again below to this. The Aero Precision mount. There's a lot of different scope mounts I've used over the years. There's stuff that's way more expensive and more robust, but that is for the weight. This is streamlined. It's slick. It's not snagging on stuff, and it's very simple. There's less screws to worry about, and it's very lightweight and relatively affordable. I'll share the link to that. We got the rear sight here, 45-degree rear sight, so you got that there, and you got that there. And then if your optic gets fogged up in the winter, if you get a bunch of mud on it, or it takes a round, or, whatever, you spill lasagna on your optic, you can just flip up your 45s and still get your job done, no problem. And these are pretty gosh darn nice. I intend to probably see if I can round up a tritium front sight post for that there. But I'll tell you what, this sucker should be totally adequate to get anything I need to get done ever for like the rest of my life. I can still shoot field mice with this. That's what I use my M4 primarily, like varmints, rodents. I shoot a lot of rodents with that M4. I got a lot of ground squirrels that get into the garden. I also got a lot of stuff that gets towards my trees. I got all sorts of rodentia in my trees, other stuff. If I want to hunt deer or large game, if I want to bust coyotes, I got coyotes that hang around this tree line that's about 850 meters from where I sit here. And I can just literally crack the window open and let them have it with this from here. I don't have to get off my chair. That's nice because I have an effective range now that's vastly exceeds the M4. As much as I love 7.62, 6.5 is going to get it done more efficiently. I intend to shoot, what ammunition was it? It's called, I got so much different ammunition for the 6.5 Creedmoor. The one I settled on was the Hornady Precision Hunter, I believe, 143 grain ELDX ammunition. And so that's the one I'm settling on for this particular rifle. I do have the VTAC Sling. Okay, I have the VTAC Sling, one of my all-time favorites. I got this on all my go-to stuff now. I also, what did I do for the attachment up here? Just because you guys are curious, I have a Harris bipod adapter from Magpul. I'm going to run a Harris 9 to 13 inch swivel series notch leg bipod because that's what I'm used to. And they're lightweight, and man, they've been used for a long time. I can operate that sucker in the dark, in the sleep, no problem. Like, I know how it works, right? And then we have, this is a Blue Force gear, clasp deal, steel, hooked onto the Magpul Dilly Mabobber here, okay? I'll leave all the links below for the exact configuration. And I also got these little tie downs here. Why is this all covered up? This was noisy, man. It is not really, it's not when I hang it this way. It quiets it right up. So now there's no clanking of steel on steel. There's a little bit of rattle of the plastic buckles if they hit stuff. But I could tape, I'm gonna tape all that up as well. So it's quiet. I put tape on here. This is a cloth tape. So I'm using this. I'll share the link below. I use this on my optics. I use this on my rifles for the wintertime. I intend to tape, I'm gonna tape up these hand guards with this cloth tape so that I can grab onto them when it's like 20 below and I don't freeze my fingers off from the immediate thermal transfer of this cold rifle to my nimble fingers, right? So I'm gonna tape the heck out of it with this up on the forearm. I'll share a link with this below. And then I use this to reinforce anything because that stuff ain't as tough as this. This is mil spec, a pretty decent tape I like for taping up hardware. It's 100 mile an hour tape, but there's a lot of different kinds of it. There's dozens of different kinds of 100 mile an hour tape. This one isn't near as glossy as a lot of them. And it's like actually pretty good pliable stuff that works and stays stuck together in a variety of cold weather and wet environments as well. So I'm gonna do that. I'll put the little stretchy doodads on there because I use that to silence it. I also have one up here. That's in case this comes down. Then I got my metal here. It's not going to ting, 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 because this is going to be my hunting rifle. And a hunter needs to be sneaky. So I'm going to be sneaky. So that'll be fun. Also, I'm going to round up, if I can, figure out some kind of way to put an ARD up here. I'll probably put the sunshade on that came with this scope. All the Arken scopes typically come with some sunshades and scope caps. So I'll either paint those, but there's some other companies that make khaki ones so that I can fully camo this on. And of course, I'll rattle can it when I'm all done. But I would like to have an ARD of some kind up here, even if I have to retrofit something from Airsoft. I don't care. I need something up here as an option for that as well for when it's blowing and snowing. And so there it is. This is the go-to rifle that, it's interesting when I talk to a number of different professional mentors in the SOF community, like Brother Saw. Man, this is hard to beat when you work out the logistics, when you work out the numbers, when you look at your range, when you look at how many yards per pound do you have, how much firepower on tap do you have, all that kind of stuff that we talk about when we do our training classes. But like, it's hard to beat something like this. And this is light. This scope is only like 22.5 ounces, again, which is not that heavy compared to other scopes in this price range. So altogether, with the lightweight mount and everything in the light as a complete system, this rifle's totally manageable. So that's what I was looking for on something like this, is I need to be able to carry it all over. And, I think that it should serve a guy pretty gosh darn well. But also Charlie Melton, who I worked with before, he's a Navy SEAL. He's, I think he was Sailor of the Year even too for a while. Like, he was a very well-accomplished professional in the SOF community. Charlie Melton, I had the pleasure of taking training from him, and also he did cover for me at a class one time in, I think, Carolina, or where the hell was that? South Carolina? So thank you for that, Charlie. But he, in his experience, he did train. He relieved Chris Kyle and Ramadi, so he's got real world experience. But he really, really likes a configuration similar to this as well, too. Last time we talked, this would be his go-to. So I thought about it. If I got my two professional mentors kind of leaning in the same direction for like a reliable AR-10 platform in 6.5 with a VPO on it, a variable power optic, that would work well. You know, it finally rubbed off on me that that's probably actually a good idea. And when I start, you know, especially in the winter when I can see 1,000 yards out here just plain as day, I'm silly not to have this cartridge in a semi-auto like this. So between a mill scale reticle that's properly balanced, like this works just fine, and a system like this, oh yeah, it's gonna work good. So we'll get her up, zeroed up. I'll do a full review on it, of course, when we're done. That kind of stuff, mostly we talk about all the different selection criteria, details, all the science, how to configure stuff, all the different rifle tips, how to make sure your screws and everything are set appropriately and all your peripheral equipment is to not cause massive problems on your rifle. All that's in the RX classroom on my Patreon page. So I'll leave a link to that too below, man. But I just wanted to share some information with you guys. Let me know below. I'm curious, what is like your go-to system? What would be, if you could have whatever you wanted, what would be your one rifle if you could just have one rifle and that's it? What would it be? I'm curious. Let me know. Be excellent with each other in the comments, like Bill and Ted said, you know, and then party on, dudes. All right, Rex out.